All right. Welcome to the session number 6 of Coding Mondays. I will jump straight ahead into the code and continue doing what we've been doing last session, but I want to highlight a pull request that was made this week actually. The number of people who are contributing to our library and to our website is increasing, and that's great. So yeah, this time Amit, he actually included a nice PR to improve the menu at the top. So if I can just find this. Yeah, this PR, we were going back and forth, but eventually what he did is a nice addition to you can actually switch between different menu items. It displays which menu item is selected, and what's most important is in the mobile view it doesn't suck. You can switch between different options. It will close, so everything works pretty well, and these are kinds of PRs that I really encourage. Small things, but they really improve the look and feel of the website. So yeah, good job, Amit. And for everyone else, I know I haven't been doing issues lately, and I probably want to merge the branch that I'm on right now. Make sure I kind of create the issues off of what I'm already working on and the calendar page, so more people can contribute to the website. So yeah, that's that. If you notice some other issues that you want to create, you can also just open a new issue, start a discussion. But so far we had 4 different people contributing to the website, and that's awesome, and we want to keep that up. So yeah, thanks for your contributions. So today we'll be continuing working on that form, on that model, to create a new event. So let me switch to my branch. We'll use GitHub CLI to do that. So our branch is calendar data work 25 GitHub PR check code 25. Cool. Let's npm install. So today a good goal would be if I can actually submit a new event to Firestore and see it being created. If we can achieve that, that'd be great. I know I said that last time, but I hope this time we can actually do it. Okay, npm start should start our website. So here's our calendar page. Right, I left this, excuse me, I left this open because I wanted to work on this modal, but if you close it, you can see that we are fetching different events for this month. If you press the plus button, it shows the modal. So I want to style this a bit more, but leave it to a minimum and really focus on, like when we press this create event button, I want to focus on submitting an event to Firestore, and let's see how long that will take, and we'll go from there. Okay, first of all, I want this button to be legible and readable. So I'll probably create something similar that I've done last time, where I created a generic input component. I'll create a generic button component that could be reused in multiple places. Yeah, and then that would be great. By the way, if during the session you notice something, or I'm stuck, or I run into an error, please feel free to either interrupt me or write something in the chat. This already happened last session, where I spent like 20 minutes trying to debug something, and then the person from the chat pointed out that something was wrong. So it's always helpful if you either do a research on the side or notice something, because I might make mistakes as I'm coding. But let's do this. Okay, I'm going to open my calendar page, and I'm going to open my calendar CSS, make sure we can split that, see this really well. All right. So I already have some piece of style for the button that is the plus button. I probably want all the buttons to look the same. So what I'm going to do is create a same flow as always. I'm going to create a new button component, reuse it in multiple places, and make sure it's styled consistently. Okay. So our components are under components, and I'm going to add, actually it's going to be a folder, button. I don't want to call it button because button is like a reserved thing. I'll probably call it custom button. Custom button. So this needs a custom button JSX and a CSS. So the style, as I mentioned, is going to be the same as I already have here. So I'll just move this here, and I probably want to call it something better, like, I don't know, button style for now, but that's pretty much it. So custom button CSS. In my custom button JSX, I want to export default the function of my button. Is that how we do things? Calendar.js. Yeah, just function calendar and then export that. Custom button. And I want to, very important, and a mistake I've made last time, import your CSS file. So import custom button.css. If you have questions upon anything I'm doing right now, feel free to ask if anything's unclear. But I'm going to be storming away if nobody has any questions. Okay, so we want to return just a button. So I'm going to steal that from calendar.jsx. And that's this component here. All right, so it will probably forward a lot of these properties like onClick and the actual text that's being displayed here. So for example, the onClick will be our own onClick function. Although I wonder if this will be a good use case for like an args. Args trick. So usually what you do is if you have a lot of props that you forward, for example, like onClick is equal to onClick and type is equal to type, and like all of these things, you can you can pass them as props into your component. So you can say onClick here and type here, and kind of force people to specify those. Also, I want to render a specific label, I guess. maybe button text, we'll call it. So the way I would use this is by doing the following. I would do custom button. I want, oh, and by the way, the class name is button style. I want to pass onClick type and button text. So onClick is the one that I have for this button. Type, I mean, I don't really care. Let's put type button. And the button text is going to be just the plus. Cool, so this should result in the same exact plus button that we've seen, but I've just extracted this to a new component. Let's refresh. Yeah, it's the same plus button, nothing has changed. So why did I do that? I want to use the same component to style our input text in here. Sorry, our create event button. So I'm going to go to the calendar JSX page, and where we have this button, type submit create event, I'm going to replace it with something similar to custom button. So onClick is going to be handle create. Actually, I wonder if we should have an onClick on the submit button, because we probably will be submitting the form and handling the onSubmit of the form instead. So I'm gonna actually omit the onClick. It's important that we specify type submit because we're in the form, and the button text is create event. So now, here we go. We have a new button. It looks the same as the plus button, but I didn't need to do much, right? I just extracted a component and reused it in multiple places, so we're pretty good to go forward. I'm actually fine with this. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on styling. Yeah, I know there are some like padding and margin issues, but don't want to worry about that too much. So, okay, I'm gonna commit this. Oh, one thing I wanted to show is this, the arg spread thing. So instead of specifying like the same, if you have props that you pass down and the names are the same, a thing you can do is, and let's see if this works, you can spread all, like rest all arguments into a variable and then just spread that variable to as props to a component. So first I want to specify the custom props that I need for this component, which are button text in my case, and then I want to just do, I think I can just do like args in here, and this notation means that whatever I specify except button text will be stored in this args variable as an object. Now onClick and type don't exist, but what I can do is spread args as such. And this means that for each entry in args, specify a prop name and a prop value for this tag, for this element. So once again, in my case, my args will be, for this custom button, it's just going to be type submit. For the one above, it's going to be the type button and the onClick. And these events will be spread into my button just because they are the same. I'm specifying the same arguments to the button and to the custom button. So this is like a very nice way to forward those. I could also specify something like, I don't know, foo equals bar, and this would mean that my button now has a foo bar prop and value. And yeah, it's very nice tool to forward your props. But let's see if this actually works, because I talk much, but I'm not sure if this actually works. I mean, seems like it does. The on click is still there. Still get the same functionality. I think we're good. So I'm going to commit that. Git commit. Format buttons. All right. Okay. Next thing, I want to handle the submission of the form, and on the submit of the form, I want to create a new event in my Firestore database. So on submit, I have handle create event form submit, which is great. And right now it's just doing a console log of the event and closes the event model. Let's see what it actually spits out in the console. So if I specify something in here, just want to provide all the fields. Okay, we have an event. Do we have all? So we have target. This is promising. We have right, so we have different fields as indices in this object, I guess. So it's going to be event target, and then you access by indice, I guess, and I think the order is represented by the order of inputs in here. So what I want essentially is like an object that represents an event. That's all I care about. Here's my value. I don't think I can just get a nice JSON object out of the event, the form event. Correct me if I'm wrong if I can, but I'm gonna do a quick Google search, but I think I will need to work with these indices and construct an object out of this. Let's maybe quickly search some form on submit, get input object, or get form data rather. Let's see what smart people think. So we have a form. Yeah, email passwords. Yeah, so they are doing event targets 0 value. Interesting, using name attribute in HTML. We can do event target elements and then access it by username, which is actually cool. I want to output event target elements and see what this contains and go from there. So event target, well, I guess I can do this in the console unless it's already refreshed. Yeah, I want to store this as a variable. Then temp1, what was it? Event target elements. Temp1 event target elements. Okay, that gives me an element of 5 things, including the button, I guess, which I don't really need. They're saying that I can do something like date. Okay, and that gives me this, and then I can do value, which gives me this. I don't even know what's best here, to be honest. I'm gonna do this manually and just access however I want. So I want an object that represents the new event. And this object should have 4 properties, right? Title, description, duration, and start time. So if I specify title, to access that from form data, I want event, target, and then I could even do, I think they were saying I can do temp 1, and then just straight up date, for example. Or what was it? Target date, maybe. Yeah, okay, so then I can do target date value. That's how I would access this. Let's do that. So event, target, title, value, and then the same for other things. So description, duration, start time. So I hope, and let's log this, but I hope the types, for example, the type of duration will be integer, because that's going to be important. So I'm going to log new event. Let's refresh. I'm going to specify something. Oh, I also need to prevent default and handle submit. I think by returning false, I can do that. So that's preventing the form from reloading the page. Okay, no, didn't work either. Let's quickly Google this. React form prevent default. JavaScript prevented by using event handler calling e prevent default or on button click or form submits. Right, okay. So instead of this, I can do event prevent default. Let's try this. No, it still reloads the page. Maybe you need to do that before. Let's see. Okay, cool. We are getting somewhere. I mean, it's not reloading, it's not getting anything either. target title, description, duration, start time. Let's make sure that our names are matching. Title, description, duration. Oh, okay, so this is just date. That's why. I mean, I should probably make this start time. This should fix the issue. Cool. Okay, here we go. We got an object. They're all strings, unfortunately, so we'll need to do some conversion. But we don't submit the form, and we have an object we can now submit to Firestore. So this is great. Okay, I'm going to convert these to proper types, and then I'm going to commit and create a service method to submit stuff to Firestore, and that's how we're gonna go. So duration should be a number, and that means that this is a hacky way of, I mean, I'm not sure if it's hacky, but it's a way of converting to an integer in JavaScript. Start time, we just want new date off of the string. Let's see what this gets us. So I'm going to specify something here, this guy, boom. Our duration is a number, our start time is an actual date, which is great, and title and description as strings, so this is awesome. I'm going to commit this. Get form object on submit. Alright, next thing I'm going to focus on is actually submitting this data to Firestore. I think we're pretty close. So we have a Firestore service. Exports. So this is getting our events. What I want to do is create another function. And this function is going to add an event. And we're going to pass an event here. So the event, what I will do is, and I don't know how to do this with V9 API. We'll need to do some Googling, but it's going to do something similar to what it's doing here. So fetch the DB and get the collection. But now also await, is there an add doc? Cool, there's an add doc that needs a collection reference. This is amazing. And it needs the actual data, which is our event. So this is very close to very easy function. If this works, it's going to be great. I'm going to just use it here. So await, this is going to be an async function. So await, add event, new event. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, let's specify something like coding Monday 6, cool event, duration is 1 hour, and date is today. Alright, let's see if this actually did anything. I didn't see any errors, which is good. Yeah, we have 4 events now. I think. Yeah, this is our event. So description is cool event, duration 1, start time is an actual timestamp, which is good. So the types match. And now if I refresh and close the modal, yeah, I see my event right here. This is awesome. We need to make sure we maintain, like we either refresh the page to refetch events, or there's another way to listen for updates in events. But this is great. I'm going to commit this first, and then we're going to do some improvements on this. We already achieved our goal, which is cool. Submit data to Firestore. All right. So on the list of things I wanted to do, first of all, I don't want the form to be open on refresh, which I left for debugging purposes. Moodle is open, and by default it should be false. Next thing is I want to refetch events whenever I create one. So I created an event here. Next thing I want to do is for now I'm going to just refetch the events. Yeah, because I don't have a good way of listening. So there's a thing in Firestore that lets you listen for updates in the database, and it utilizes something called sockets for that. I'm not going to go into that this session for sure, but it's a very powerful tool and we might explore it. I'll need to bring in some libraries for that though. Or maybe I don't, now that I think about it. Because every time you update, you just set state in your component, and that might be easier than refreshing. Let's try and do that, actually. Yeah, if I spend the rest of the event doing this, it's fine. So instead of getting the events once, we're going to listen on events, on event updates. And this includes updates, creates of new documents, deletes of documents in a collection, and all those things. So I'm going to call this listen to events, which sounds very generic, but events is an actual entity in our database. And then I will accept a callback that will run whenever our events collection is updated. So on update is going to be my function that I accept. This stays the same. The collection stays the same. Events, we don't want to get all the docs anymore. So I think there's something related to listen. Add event listener. Where does this come from? I think this is generic. Okay, let's look at how we can do this. Firestore web listen to changes. I want to show this because this is like a very powerful function. Okay, so it's on snapshot, and then you define which document you want to listen on. You specify the database, the collection. I don't know what this is. Yeah, so it's on snapshot. Okay, well, let's see what the IntelliSense tells us. So it's on snapshot. I don't need the await anymore. Oh, we'll need to get them once anyway. Now that I think about it, because how does this work? On snapshot accepts a reference to a document and then the observer to do it. So it won't give us like a new instance to, like a new instance of the whole collection. It will just give us the document that appeared, I think. Let's read the docs a bit. Local rights will invoke immediately. Spending rights. It's all great. Listen to multiple documents in a collection. This is more of what we want. Okay, so you create a query on your collection. And then you can on snapshot off of a query. So the documents you can use on snapshot instead of get to listen to the results of the query. This creates a query snapshot, for example, to listen to the documents with state CA. Snapshot handler will receive a new query snapshot every time the query results change. This is awesome. I'm going to create, we actually will need a query to filter only the events available for this month. Which I'm just thinking, like, I could just create like some very generic query for now and then improve it. So something like events query is collection, and then I'm guessing, actually I'm not going to rename this yet. So events collection is fine, but then events query is going to be a where function off of the events collection. And then I want any document to, let's say, wait, how do they do it? Oh, so there is a query function, and then you do collection where state equals CA. Okay, so I'll need to do query off of the events collection where a specific field, let's say title, and I'm gonna do something like very obvious, like not equals to an empty string, right? That's gonna return almost always all documents in the collection. But this enables me to use this on snapshot function and pass events query to it. So events query, and then I want to do something on whenever this happens. So on snapshot I can receive pass a query and then run this function whenever it changes, which is great. And it gives me a query snapshot, which I can iterate over. This is awesome. So query snapshot. And I want to do something similar to what I've already done, like returning an array of events, but rather than returning it, I want to call my onUpdate function. So I'll be calling onUpdate with this result, ultimately. And why are you complaining? Because I didn't close parenthesis. So not event docs, but actually query snapshot. And I hope I can do map on this, right? Possibly not. No, there is a for each, but there is no map. This is because query snapshot is a custom function. That's fine. Can I go, okay, there is docs. So query snapshot docs, and docs is an array, which I can use map on, and same logic persists. Okay, why am I doing all of this? I'm trying to make this dynamic in a sense that whenever something updates in my database, I'm going to re-render my UI. It's going to be like magically re-rendering, listening for changes. All right, let's see if this works. First of all, we need to change a few things here. So remember this use effect where we were loading events, getting and setting them. We're no longer doing that. Instead, we want to do the following. We want to listen to events, and I want to pass my onUpdate function, which will accept a list of events, the updated events, and it's just going to set events here. And I don't need any of this. Possibly. Not for now. So I don't think listen for events will fire initially, like with an initial list of events, although it might. Let's see if this does anything, and if we just possibly will just get an empty calendar page. Okay, why is my form status still not up to date? Oh, is this thing that need to be false? What did I change? Oh, I changed the function instead of state. So open, it needs to set modal open to true, but the default should be false. Cool, let's see if that works. No, come on. It's still compiling? No, that's weird. Okay, my Chrome is struggling right now. Hey, we actually got 2 events, which is interesting. So just to show you what we've done right now and why did I even bother doing this, I'm going to delete one of those events, and if I've done everything correctly, it should re-render automatically. So I'm going to do like a side-by-side view. Let's do this, let's do this. Then I'm going to switch to my Firestore. Here's my cool event, and somewhere is my session 5. Okay, fingers crossed. I'm going to delete this event. Okay, I definitely did not do something right. If I've done it correctly, it would have rendered, would have deleted the session. Let's see if we got anything at all. Interesting. I guess if I reload, it should be gone now. Interesting. Okay. Which is fine, we didn't go backwards, at least it's doing something. I was hoping this would do it. Listen to events, then on snapshot, do stuff. I'm going to log here and see if this even does something. Updating events. So I'm not very happy with how long this takes to reload. I'm gonna restart my server. I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh, wow. That's why that is happening. We're calling update events in some kind of a loop, which is very scary, especially because I'm working with the production database. So why does that happen? Oh, I know exactly why that's happening. I think it's because this is not in some sort of hook. It's going to set events initially. Yeah, I think that should be in like use effect. So what's happening is basically it's trying to run this on render of this component. Then it's going to set events, which will re-render the component and rerun the script, triggering another fetch, another re-render. So this is kind of scary because this is our number of reads is limited to the database, and I'm gonna check the usage, and I won't be surprised that I have like 1,000 there. But I guess like lesson to learn. I think if I do use effect on this, and I need to specify the dependencies of the use effect, which will be the events, or I guess, actually I'm not sure how to do that. Maybe it's gonna be like a use callback on the update function. Essentially, I don't want to rerun this function unless events change significantly. Let's try different things here. And also, I don't want to fetch things because this will but then onQuery snapshot will run anyway, so that will count as a read. I just want to separate this issue from Firestore so we don't get too many reads, but I guess we'll need to YOLO it. Okay, my idea was to create a use callback. So on updates is our use callback. And we would put our function in here, and this will depend on, I guess, the set events function. And I hope it's smart enough to not re-render itself if events are the same. Then I can do just on updates. So I hope it will do it. Potentially set callback should cache my function, not call it every time, many times. Let's see. Okay, I did definitely break something. Minified React error 321. The above error occurred in calendar. For full errors, additional help warnings. Never seen this before. Let me rerun this. Wow, okay. There's something wrong in like minified React. The minified production build of React, we avoid sending down full error messages. Okay, invalid hook hook can only be called inside of the body of a function component. This could happen for one of the following reasons. Okay, so I think that's happening because I'm trying to pass a hook into like an external function. Or result of a hook. Let's do a quick Google search if there's like a good way of doing this on snapshot in React. Yeah. So what are they doing? On snapshot, then snapshot, then probably do some force update is update state. Yeah, okay. Better if you could combine use effect and set state. Use effect will set up and detach the listener. Use state can just be responsible for data you read. Data set data. Right, so unsubscribed can be fetched off of the snapshot. So they're just throwing this in the use effect, which I guess makes sense because you're not calling listen to events many times. So this was something I tried to do initially. So there's the use effect with empty params, and my callback function stays the same. I think that's it. Oh, right, the unsubscribed part as well. So this is a convention with Firestore. You can get your snapshot as an object and then call it as a function, and that will unsubscribe from all the events. So I can get const unsubscribe. And then in a use effect, if you return a function, that will be called on the destruction of your component. So I can return a function that will... You're doing this, I wonder if you can just return unsubscribe. But I guess that's fine. And then in the Firestore service, I also want to return this on snapshot. Right. Yeah, here's my unsubscribe thing. Okay, let's see if this fixed anything. Cool. We only got updating events once, and that's good. And we have this guy. Now let's see if I add anything at all. Maybe I do it for our form, which will be quicker. So let's hit a plus. Test. Hey, this was awesome. We got updating events. And this re-rendered, although I didn't fetch anything. So I think now my demo will work, something I wanted to show initially. Not zoom. Let's move this here. Close this guy. Now if I go in here, and we didn't implement the delete functionality yet, but I think if I delete the document, hey, this automatically updates our UI and we're listening for things. This is awesome. I'm pretty happy with what we've achieved today. It's 6:58, 59. I'm going to commit what I have and probably open up for questions if you have anything. Cool. Any questions? Any feedback? Anything was unclear with what I should go over? If not, I'm going to wrap this up. I will try, I say this every time, but I will really try merging this branch in now that we have this like semi-working. And I'll probably create a bunch of tickets for you guys to work on and tackle some myself if something's left. Yeah, maybe that will also include like some Firestore work, which should be pretty cool for you guys to try out. Anyway, thanks for joining today. I hope this was somewhat interesting and useful. I hope you've learned something. And yeah, we'll continue doing this next week. We're pretty close to getting this calendar feature in and functional and ready. It's spent on this almost 4 weeks now. Yeah. See you next time. Thank you for joining.